What is up, YouTube? So this is one of my very first videos that I'm doing, and it's something that I've wanted to do for a very long time now, and that is just me simply recording myself on a day-to-day basis of training, eating, and what it takes as a person who's vegetarian and semi a vegan. I'm not 100% a vegan yet, but it's not something that I intend on doing, but who knows, in the future, like, I might do. So I predominantly eat plant-based meals, and I don't eat eggs or fish or any kind of meat, but I still consume dairy, such as whey protein. Actually, inside of this is cream of rice. I just needed the tub, so I put the cream of rice in this tub. And yeah, I just want to vlog and have fun. I've been coaching personal training clients for like over 15 years now, so I just kind of want to have a break from it, from the face-to-face aspect, and continue coaching my clients online. But I just want to have fun, and this is my first video in the day in the life of what I eat. So we're just gonna have a pre-training meal. So this is gonna be, I believe we are after, if I look at my fitness pal at the moment, so currently my macro split is, on training days, it's 180 grams of protein, 350 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fat. So I've already had my meal one, and now I'm going to be doing meal number two. So this will be, let's have a look. So 60 grams of cream of rice, and I'm running quite low at the moment, so this means I need to buy some more. And yeah, it's very important that you fuel yourself up before having your training session, depending on what your goals are, right? So right now my goal is to put on some muscle mass, as well as drop some body fat. So I've only managed to get 50 grams out of this, so I'll have to make up the rest of my carbs from rice cakes. So we can do that. Yes, as I was saying, it's very important that you get carbs in prior to training, because if your goal is to go in and cause as much muscular contractions and damage as possible, you want to be at your strongest. You don't want to be going in not fueled enough and having a kind of semi fucked session, right? So you don't want that. So carbohydrates play a huge role, and that is something I can talk about later on. But right now, this has to be one of the best protein powders that I have had in a very long time. So previously, when I was taking whey, I would find that I would get gut issues, but since I've started taking New Zealand whey isolate protein, my gut issues have been fantastic. Reason being, because protein from New Zealand, in fact like the dairy from New Zealand, they have very strict laws over there where they are not allowed to tamper with cow's milk, so they can't artificially inseminate them, so they are full of hormones and various other things, right? So all of that conventional shit that you get in the dairy industry, you consume that, but with New Zealand dairy, they are not allowed to do that. So hence why this is one of the cleanest proteins that I've found, and by far one of the smoothest that I've had as well. So great protein source. It is quite expensive. It's around the £70 mark, but when you taste it, you'll understand why it's why it's that expensive. So let's see what else I have over here. So what we have done, I like to keep my pre-workout meals very light and not heavy. Today I've woken up a little bit late, so the rest of my day has kind of sped ahead of me, and it's a little bit later. So we've got some complex carbs in there from the cream of rice, and then what I've got here is some frozen blueberries, and this will be fructose carbs, I believe, which are quick acting sugars, so we should be fueled enough for our workout. Now, because these are frozen and I want to have them quickly, what I'll do is I'll just pour some hot water into them, let that sit there for about 2 minutes whilst I start to mix this little batch. Yeah, what I find with cream of rice, that you always want the consistency to be just right, and you don't want it to be lumpy because then it just tastes like shit, right? So if you start off with a little bit of water, and then you can always titrate upwards. So at the moment, if you look at this, I'm not sure if you can see it, it looks like baby food, and that's the right consistency that I like. So, in fact, instead of me having rice cakes, because I've just remembered I don't have any, what we can do is we bring this down to 50, and then, oh, not that one. Have I done that? Yeah, that's correct. Then we can take that one up. Yeah, there we go. So, what we'll do as a tertiary carb source, we'll have Cocoa Pops, Chocos. Right, so these are really good. So, don't forget the trusty scale. You want to have the scale on here, and if we put that on, always remember to put it on 0. So with this, per 100 grams, you're going to get 77 grams. So I'm going to be putting in 60 grams. And there we go, on the money. So now we have cream of rice, protein powder with some quick, lovely chocolate cereal, which always tastes banging. And then what we do is these blueberries that we had just soaked in boiling water, what we'll do now is we'll just drain it. In fact, I'm going to drain it like that. There we go. So now we've got some good antioxidant rich fruit in there, which will play a good sweetener to this as well as getting in 1 about 5 a day. So I'm just going to eat this, and then I'll catch you guys at the gym. So here we are in the gym today. So we're going to be doing, so we've got 5 training splits, Monday through to Friday, or we can do 2 days on, 1 day off, and then 2 days on, 1 day off, and 1 day on again, as long as I'm doing 5 strength-based workouts during the week. And these workouts will consist of push arms, pull arms, lower, quads, push tries, and posterior bis. So today's workout will be starting off with seated calf raises, a cable chest press, a Smith machine, incline chest press, standing unilateral cable raises, pec deck, cross-body tricep extensions, and some biceps to finish off. So I have just had my pre-workout, and my pre-workout consists of more of a pump formula, and then for caffeine I would rather have an espresso shot, just depending on, because sometimes I don't know when I'm going to be working out. It might be in the morning or it might be in the evening, so I'd rather have a pre-workout formula that's going to be more of a pump-based thing, and then if I need the caffeine, I can always take coffee just by itself. So I'm just going to next some water down, and then at some point you guys can join me on my training. So catch you in a bit. So when it comes to the first exercise that we're doing today is seated calf raises. At the gym that I'm in right now, it is a gym group, so it's a commercial gym, and they'll have user-friendly equipment, which most of the UK has, right? So like the basis of this YouTube vlogging video is that I kind of want to show the people who do go to just regular gyms that you can build a great physique by just going to the regular gyms. You don't need to go to a third space or like a David Lloyd. As much as those places are nice, I've been members there, and they are very lovely gyms. But just for now, so just over the course of the next 12 to 16 weeks, I'm just going to be showing you what you can build here, and I'm going to take you through what this very first exercise is, right? So a lot of people, when they do this exercise, I've seen them do it very, very wrong. So most newbies, what they will do is they'll start doing this, which is more of a hack squat leg press movement, right? So that's not what we're trying to do here. What we're really trying to do is we are really trying to get ankle flexion as well as dorsiflexion, right? So we're trying to get your heels to get as low as they can, so we get a nice stretch at the bottom and then contracting all the way up, right? So I'm going to be doing 3 sets of this, and just as a warm-up, I'm going to be doing a feeder set. Right? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be working up to my working set, and I'm a big believer that your first working set should be your heaviest, because that's where you're going to be your absolute freshest, and that's where you're going to be able to push the most amount of weight, because as you start doing more sets, your fatigue starts to kick in. Yeah, just give me 1 second. Hi, right, so what you need to do is you just need to stand up 1 second. So you come in that way, place your legs on it, pull the handle, and go as far as you can comfortably, right? So depending on how much flexibility you got, and then coming in, yeah. But you don't just want to go in and out like that. You want to control it down, right? So if you're trying to work on this muscle over here, you want to pause there for like 2 seconds and then slowly come back. Right? You're very welcome. Right, sorry about that. So, what was I saying? I was talking about feeder sets. So when you do your feeder sets, you want to be able to work your way up to your actual working set. Reason being is you always want to start off with your heaviest weight that you possibly can, because that's when you're going to be your freshest, and that's when you want to be able to push the most amount of load. So as you start to go through your sets, you become fatigued and you cannot push the amount of weight that you would normally do. So starting off with a feeder set, okay, I really want to do the feeder sets here so you can work your way up, but the point of this is, I forgot myself. Bear with me. Yeah. Yes, the point of this is warm-ups. Should you do them? Yes and no, depending on what you are warming up for. So if I'm going to be doing strength-based training, which I'm about to do right now, I don't want to do warm-ups where I'm statically stretching too much, which is going to cause me to become fatigued in that muscle. So your warm-up should literally be inside of your feeder sets, where you are neurologically firing those muscle groups for your brain to understand what you want it to work, and then that should prime the muscle up in order for you to do a heavy set. So let's get started. So for me, this range, as you can see, right? So if you look at my knees, so there's a little bit of a bend in my knees. And then from here, I'm getting the most maximum amount of stretch at the bottom. That is where I'm going to get the most out of this movement. Because as I contract towards the top, I'm contracting my calves, but for me to get big calves, which I'm trying to do, and luckily I've been given my granddad's legs, and he always had very skinny legs. So I need to spend more time in the area that I'm weak. So this is the stretch position, and this is where I am structurally weak, and that is where I want to spend more time. So my tempo for this movement is going to be a 3-2-1-2 movement. So meaning I pause at the top for 2 seconds, I come down for 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to hold it there at the bottom for 2 seconds and then 1 second to come up. 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. This is how tempo. So what I'm trying to do here right now is I'm just trying to warm up my calves, understand the movement. For the first for the first feeder sets, I'm just trying to get blood flowing in that area, understanding the movement, getting the stretch, and then we can work our way in. So if I look at my notes from my last time I had done 45 kg, and my target rep range is 12 to 15 reps. Okay, so we're just gonna warm up, 18 kg. I'm gonna go up to 32. So we can do like another feeder warm-up set. And if your goal is to build muscle, it's really got nothing to do about the fucking weight. It's got absolutely nothing to do with how much load you can lift. It's really about contractions, holding the muscle in the place where you are the weakest. Let yourself spend some time there, and that is where you're going to grow, right? So most people will just bounce out of this. You need to spend time at the very top range of the movement where you're fully contracting that calf, and then eccentrically lowering it down and spending time in that stretch position where you feel a stretch and you just absolutely feel like shit, and then you come back up, okay? So this exercise, I done it last week, my calves were just absolutely blitzed for 4 days. I was walking on my toes for 4 days, and like I couldn't even take a shit. That's how fucked up they were. Like, you know, when you train your calves and you train your legs and you can't even touch your heel down to the floor, that's how fucked up I was. But we love it, right? We love it. All right, so my calves are nice and warmed up. We've got to a working set. So last time I got 45 kg for 3 sets, and each set I got up to 15 reps, 15 reps, and 15 reps. So that means I can actually take that load up. It shouldn't be a case. It shouldn't be a case that I'm doing the same weight again, because we want to implement progressive overload. And if I can do that load 3 consecutive sets and complete them at that top rep range, that means I can go up in weight. So we're going to add on 2.3 kg. Now then, you guys might be thinking that, hold on, Tan, that's a bit of a shit jump up, right? You know, you should be going more than it. No. So your job in the gym is to squeeze as much as you can out of those little weights, and it's in those little weights where you will grow the most. Because if you do too much of a jump, then you're going to hit a wall, and then you have to backtrack, right? So you can't afford to be backtracking in the gym, right? So what you want to be doing is you want to milk as much as you can out of those small little jumps. Week by week, you're just progressively getting stronger. So you're adding more muscle mass onto you, that you're dropping body fat, and then you can slowly start to get stronger and stronger, right? That's how you progressively overload in the gym, not going super heavy where you only get 4 reps out of something, and then you just completely neurologically just fucking fried yourself, and then you can't do any more sets. All right, so let me just have some water, and then I can start my first working set. Let's get some music on as well. If you're wondering what I'm listening to at the moment, my hype song is normally, hold on one second. Gains, what's happening? I'm good. I'm just training and I'm just vlogging a YouTube video, right? Just call me, call me after work. All right, in a bit. Right, so sorry about that. People love calling me. My go-to song has to be Alter Bridge, Matalingus. I hope I'm saying that right, but let's go. Yeah, that's good. I think I just got about 15 there. I kind of lost count halfway through. So you always want to make sure that you have a training diary in the gym, right? Or you can use an app. The reason you want to have a training diary in the gym is because how do you know what you've done last time? Right? So you're not recording anything. You have any statistical data in your routine check. And that is one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give any new lifters, new gym goers, is to just keep training. It's one of your best friends, it's one of your best tools, and the truth never lies, right? So be truthful with yourself, be honest, write down exactly what you did, and you can keep logs, and you can see how you are changing, how you are progressing as time goes forward. So what did I do here? 45 and 2.3, so 46, 47, 47.3. 15. Now, I could go up in weight, but I just about managed to get that last repetition, which I'm going to see if I can do the same thing again for set number 2. Yeah, let's go. All right, here's another tip as well. So when you're in this seat, you want to have your arse right into this little nook and cranny over here, so you've got no space there for you to be moving around, jumping around. You want to pull yourself down into that seat so you're structurally locked in. So the only thing that should be moving should be your calves. Oh yeah, I think I got about 18 reps in, so even though the target was 15, I want to blitz through that, right? So I should be reaching failure just around the 15th repetition, but I had a few more in me, so what that means is I want to carry on driving through that until I physically cannot move anymore. So towards the end, your form will start to get shit, and that's fine, right? But throughout the whole set, you want to make sure that you are keeping some relatively good form, a good tempo, but then no doubt as you go through the reps and as you're starting to peel those layers off where you are strong and you can actually take that load, you get to the deeper layers of the onion, and by onion is onion your muscle fibers. Those are the fibers that have never actually worked before, and those that we are actually trying to target. So you always want to go to failure in the gym within reason. So 27.3, I got 18 out of that. One more set to go, so let's go. Last set. Come on, get to 10. Drop the load. Come on. I'm really partial now. I can't get any more out of it. Alright. So that was a good fucking set of calves, right? So we took that muscle group to absolute failure. And I managed to get 10 out of the first one, and then I dropped it down to 25 plus 2.3, so 27.3, and I managed to get another 6 I believe like that. So cool. Next movement. Alright, so next exercise that we're going to be doing is dual stack cable chest press. So like the reason that I'm doing this one is it's safer for me to be doing a cable chest movement because there's more stability, whereas doing conventional free weight bench press, dumbbell work, that stuff has its place and it's really cool. But for where I am in my fitness journey right now, like I'm 37 years old, I can't afford to have injuries at the gym and stuff, so I'd rather maximize a movement with limited downside and maximum returns. So that is why I opt to do seated cable chest press, because it's just a much better movement for me, and you can contract more of your muscle, right? So you don't have gravity forcing you down, so you're just kind of heaving the weight up and down, so you're actually thinking about what you're doing. And that's important when you're at the gym, right? So when you're at the gym and you're trying to build muscle, your sole purpose should be, I'm coming in to contract muscle, contract it to its fullest lengthened position, stretch it to its, contract it to its fully shortened position, and then stretch it to its fully lengthened position within reason in where you can lift. And that's how I approach my training. So I'm just going to look at my notes on what I had done for last week. So for this movement, I'm only doing 2 working sets. So my first set is my heaviest. Second set will be lowering the load, but then the repetitions go up higher. Again, feeder sets. So we're going to do 1 to 2 feeder sets, just so we can understand the movement, so we can get the brain and the muscle to neurologically work together and work consistently as a cohesive unit. so we can understand what we want it to do, and we can have the brain on our side. So we'll do a feeder set. So when doing chest movements, your primary job, if you look at the pectorals, so this is in its fully stretched position, right? And your aim should be to try and push this as far forward where your job is to almost try and touch your biceps together. So what I mean by that is your job is to push forward and not come across this line, because as soon as you come across, you'll see this in the gym. Most people will start doing this, where they tap the dumbbells or they tap the cables, and that is when your chest switches off. Your chest is under maximum contraction when you are fully trying to reach as far forward as you can whilst retracting shoulder blades back. So my job here, I'm trying to pinch my shoulder blades back, coming in and pushing all the way forward where I'm trying to touch my biceps together. They will never ever touch, because from a structural point, they will never meet. But you want to have that thought process that you are trying to hug your biceps into each other, and that is what pushes my chest forward, and that is what shortens my chest, and that is where you have maximum contraction. You'll see guys in the gym where they just do this, and yeah, like it feels good. It feels good to just push some heavy weight. But then, if your job is to contract muscle, build muscle, you want to be getting full contraction, holding it there in that shortened position, right? So this is where you're going to be your absolute weakest, your absolute shittest. That is where you want to hold it, get stronger in that position, control it back, hold it in that position where you're shit as well. Most people will just be strong in that little range. We want to get full range of movement. That is your primary aim. So let's do a feeder set. So with chest, we don't want to be out here, so we want to be tucked in, right? 45-degree angle and pushing forward. So you see how my chest, I'm trying to push my biceps into each other? That is how we do chest presses. And with your eyes, you want something to focus on. So normally your gym will have something on the ceiling, some kind of pipe work. I normally just picture myself at the top because that's something nice to look at. Normally there's a mirror in front of me. So you see, structurally everything is locked in. And that's what we're trying to do. Just trying to get fully shortened, fully lengthened, and contract. We'll do one more feeder set. And then we'll work our way up to a working set. So when you're doing this, when you have some heavy load on this and you're really pushing forward, excuse me, imagine your job is to pinch your shoulder blades together, and then you're trying to push your back into that pad. Or if you was lying down on the floor, your job is to push the earth away from you, and you're trying to dig yourself down into that ground, and everything else is just space moving around you. It's a weird way of explaining it, but you'll understand what I mean by that when you do it. So let's do our second feeder set. We'll do one more. Alright, that's good. Where's his last one? There we go. Alright, so now we're going to do our working set. Alright, so last time. So depending on what equipment you're working with, this stack over here, so this company's Matrix, I believe it uses a dual pulley system. So the load on it, you can go heavier because you have two cable pulley systems which actually pull the stack up. So you can go heavier. Whereas I've tried different brands, and because it's on a single cable stack mechanism, that same weight, it's very, very heavy. So don't worry about if you have to lower the weight, because remember, your job is not to worry about how much load you can lift, but simply muscular contraction taking it to failure. So let's put this bad boy up. Alright. So tempo is 3-1-1-2. 3 seconds back. Explode for 1. Holding it there for 2. And rep range is 8 to 12. So let's get a good track. You can't go wrong with Limp Bizkit. One more. All right, so I think I got 8 there with an attempt to get a 9th one, and you can see that I take myself to absolute failure there, where I was just trying to get that 9th repetition out, and no matter how much I was trying to push, I couldn't do it anymore. But then I didn't stop. I was holding that static contraction whilst trying to push as much as I can, and I take myself to failure there. So that's a good fucking working set. Now I'm going to drop the load, because second working set we're trying to go for 12 to 15 repetitions. So when I am trying to look for what kind of weight I should be doing, it should still be a struggle. It shouldn't be, oh yeah, Tan's going to drop the load to 12 to 15 repetitions, so that means that the weight should be really, really easy and I can easily get to 15. No. We still want it to be challenging enough that we give yourself enough of a stimulus that you are still contracting muscle, you are pushing yourself to the absolute limit. So saying that, I need some water, because the more hydrated you are, and I've lost myself. Where's my lovely face? There we are. Right. So the more hydrated you are, and the more water gets pushed into the muscle, the much better pump you have. And it's always good to stay hydrated, right? So your performance is better as well. All right. So then drop this down to 12. And don't forget your primary job in the gym. If your goal is to build muscle, it is not about how much load you can lift. It really is about coming in, doing as much muscular damage as you can in a controlled way. Hence why I'm a big advocate of using machines, using cables where you can isolate the muscle and you can get stronger in that position. Free weights are great, nothing wrong with free weights, but if you're new to the gym and you've never stepped foot in the gym and you don't know what you're doing, use machines, right? You know, that's giving you a guided line of movement that you can understand what should be firing, what should be moving, right? So machines are fucking incredible. Anyone that says, oh yeah, bro, you should lift free weights when you get bigger. Mate, have you seen some of your professional bodybuilders? Like C-Bone, big advocate of using machines. Why? Because we eliminate the likelihood of you getting an injury in the gym. So that's the last thing you want, right? Until you have the joint stability, years of muscle maturity, that's really when I would kind of push someone onto free weights. But then if you have a great coach, if I was personal training someone face to face, I would teach them how to get strong, how to have good joint stability. I would drive into their head about tempo. Tempo is absolute king inside of the gym, especially to newbie lifters, right? If you're trying to build muscle, your best friend is going to be tempo. Tempo will teach your joints how to hold, how to move, how to contract, and get fucking strong in those areas that you are shit. Okay, so come on, let's go. Let me put my song on. Come on. Finish that. Drop the load. Finish it off. Oh, wow. See, so that's all it took. Just 2 sets. Just going to your absolute maximum. So the first set was my heaviest. That's where I'm putting on the maximum load that I can, because that's when I'm going to be my strongest over here. And then, what's happened here? So that's when I'm going to be my strongest. And that's where we want to have maximum load. Take yourself to failure. Second set, lower it, repetitions go higher. So you're still having that same stimuli, right? So you're just still taking the muscle group to muscular and technical failure. And that's how you train chest. All right, next exercise. All right, so the next exercise is going to be incline Smith machine chest press. The nice thing about this machine is that you do have stability, in the sense that because the plane of movement just has to go up and down, you eradicate having unregular stability of the shoulders, because on a free weight system, for those who have never done it before, you might be weak and there's just more room for things to go wrong, whereas this, it's stuck on a plane of movement which just goes up and down, and if you can't do the movement anymore, you've literally got like a safety latch, and you can literally just lock it out. So I like doing this because then you can go heavy on it. Not that I'm trying to go super heavy. So again, feeder set, just warming up that area that I'm trying to target right now. Okay, so again, what I'm trying to do here, shoulder blades are pitched back. Foot position is very important when doing chest movements, right? So think of this as you're throwing a punch. So when you're going to throw a punch, right, so if you look at professional fighters, boxers, their power source comes from their feet. So your source of power, like explosiveness, has to come from the ground. So if you have your feet out, you have no anchoring down to the ground. So if you're very far off, you have no stability here. So when you start to struggle, you're going to be flapping around like a fish out of water, and then you're going to be puffing and puffing and like heaving and just using any kind of your mechanics of your upper body just to try and get that weight up. You might even start to use your lats, where you kind of push your back, you actually pull your back off of the bench, and you've actually just moved the bar up, but you actually haven't even engaged your pectoral muscles. So what you need to do is bring your feet in, push your heels down, and you want to push them down until you can feel your hamstrings contract. Once they are contracting, you want to squeeze your glutes, then you want to squeeze your core, right? So now structurally this is all locked down, and that will give me the power to actually push up, right? So if I'm going to throw a heavy ass punch, so I'm going to punch someone, I want to push from my feet, right? So that's how we want to do stuff. So let's load the weight up. My target rep range for this first working set is, I'm going for 6 to 9 reps. So that means I should be going relatively heavy, right? And we're going to put on a 20. So we'll put on a 20 on each side. That will get us to 40. And again, I'm trying to eliminate my ego from the gym, because my job is not to be a weightlifter. I don't care how much weight I can lift. I just want to look good and feel good, right? So I want my joints to be good. So 6 to 9 reps, and we want to come down as far as we can, preferably just shy of touching your sternum, engaging all the muscle, right? So we shouldn't touch that you completely lose contraction. So we still want to hold that position where we have some contraction there and then exploding up and getting that full range of movement. So you might see some guys where they do partial ranges of movement. Partials do have their place. I believe partials, from my own personal preference and experience and coaching, partials should be saved towards the second to third set where you structurally just cannot push any more weight, but you can still get some kind of movement out of it, so you're still contracting your muscle group that you're trying to work. That's where partials should come in. Okay, so let's try and get 6 to 9 reps out of this, and yeah, Monday, let's go. Oh yeah, that was a good set. So that last set when you saw me struggling, that was where I'm just getting to failure. If I had taken it down one more time, I probably wouldn't have been able to get it back up. But that's a good thing. Within reason, yeah, just I'm talking about the bar here, not my dick. So that was a good set. So now we're going to lower the weight, because now the repetition range, I'm going to try and get more reps out of this. So 40 or 10 out of that. And now we're going to go for 12 to 15 repetitions. We don't need to do too many sets on this, solely because I'm coming in to do maximum damage and get out. I'm not here to spend hours and hours in the gym. This might seem like hours and hours in the gym because this video, I'm not sure how long it's going to be, but it seems like a long one because I'm explaining stuff as well. But that's a good thing. So, like I said earlier on, your best friend in the gym are these 1.5s, 2.5s. You'll be surprised at how much you can actually milk out of them to get some solid muscle mass. All right, let's go. All right. I think I got 7 or 8 out of that, so I'm going to make sure that we finish the set, lower the weight. I need to get my 15, probably lower it again. So we've got 7, I need to get another 8 more. Tempo, 3 seconds down. Oh, that's my chest fried. So that's a good set. See you in the next exercise. Alright guys, so next exercise is going to be cable, standing unilateral cable raises. So I've actually forgotten my cuffs at home, so normally I have some cuffs for this, but we're going to make use of the handles today. And when you're training lateral raises, like whenever you're doing lateral raises, it's all about really understanding angles. So where is the hardest? Right. So where is the hardest position going to be? It's going to be over here. That is 90 degrees away from your body, and this is where the cable comes back down to 180. So when you're choosing what height that cable stack should be, right, so if you look at this can go up and down. You want it to be just where your hand is, a little lower, so the cable actually comes. Right, so if I stand over here, so if you look at this, that cable is going almost 90, sorry, it's almost going 180 degrees straight to the stack. And then as you raise it upwards, this becomes a 45 degrees. But then just over here, we have now created a 90 degree. So this comes back down to 90, and that becomes 180 on the cable. This becomes 90 on the shoulder. Right? So that's what you really want to be trying to accomplish with this. So let's take the load up. So the key to doing lateral raises, it's really about doing high repetitions, because if you think about it, your shoulder muscles, let's say your deltoids, are predominantly slow twitch, meaning slow twitch fibers, you can milk a lot out of them, and that's the same for your quadriceps. Right, so your quadriceps as well as your core, those are all slow twitch muscle fibers, meaning that you can do walking and you can twist and turn your trunk all day and they won't get tired, right? Because those muscle fibers are intended for them to take a lot of volume. So in order for you to get really capped shoulders, you need to be providing them enough of a stimuli for them to be able to grow, right? So that's the key to shoulders. So let's see, repetition range 10 to 15, tempo 3, 1, 1, 1, meaning that we're coming down for 3 seconds and contracting up for 1 second and holding up there for 1 second as well. So let's go. Oh, what's happening there? All right, mate. There we go. There's my lovely face. As you start to fatigue, you can use momentum. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but look.
Now we change arms. We'll do the other side as well. 5 sets. So I'll put you down here. So the key is tempo.
Yesterday was so good.
So you can see from this angle that the cable is going straight into the stack. So if you have the cable too far down, then you have loads of more resistance. And our primary job is to make a good resistance curve, so like a good bell curve, so the peak contraction will be right in the middle over here, so that's the hardest point. And then I'm going to be structurally weakest right over here. So that's the point where I want to hold it, and then lowering it down for a slower count. As I'm starting to fatigue now, need momentum, but then we lower it controlled. Oh man. Lower the weight.
I don't know. No, this one.
So I've done 2 sets, started my first set with my heaviest load that I could. As I've gone through the sets, I started getting weaker, so now for my last set, I'm gonna drop the load and just go for repetitions, focusing on technique, form, and just getting that full muscular contraction that I possibly can get out of it. So you see, if I would normally have my cuff, it would get rid of the focus of my hand and my forearms taking the load bearing movement, because that's the very first thing that starts to fatigue. Whereas when it's on my actual forearm, then it's just my delt doing most of the movement. So that's how I like to train delts. It's pure isolation movements, just trying to eradicate as much momentum as we can and just getting in there, doing as much focused contraction as we can in a structured plane of movement. So, all right, next exercise. Alright guys, next thing that we're going to do is pec deck. With a pec deck, you want to have your hips slightly forward, so you're almost leaning back into it, because what you're trying to do, most people, when you start to struggle, you will start to shift forward and your shoulder blades will start to kind of just push forward, so you're trying to get that join to happen, but you're not actually contracting your pec, like you're just moving your body forward. That's what I mean by that, is people will start doing this and you're not actually contracting your pecs. So what you want to do, we just shift our hips forward, so you're almost leaning back into it. Now you've got a big stretch, so you're in the fully stretched position. And then what you're trying to do here, you're trying to push your arms forward just like doing a chest press. Your aim is not to touch, because like the moment you touch, you're going to break that contraction which is happening of your pectorals. So just here, remember, you are trying to touch your biceps together. So if I push forward now, so if you look at it, what's happening, this is shortening, and I can shorten that even further by just pushing forward. But if I'm sitting back here, I will start doing this, right? So my back will come off of that bench. So if I just shift my hips forward, now I cannot move this forward. So that's a good little teaching point. So let's see what we had done last time, repetition wise. 10 to 15 reps. Tempo is 3 seconds back, 1 second hold, 1 second contraction with a 2 second concentric isometric contraction at the very end of the top position of the movement. So we've done 32 last time. So again, with this, it's got nothing to do with how much load I can lift. It's really about, my main priority right now is to just get contractions. I couldn't give a fuck about how much load I can lift, but we want the load to be challenging enough that I can just about get to that 15th repetition marker. All right. We need a banger of a track. So, is this recording? Yeah, it is. We need a banger of a track. We'll listen to some Jazzy B, because you can't go wrong with Jazzy B. Alright, a little bit old school Jazzy B, sorry, love it to you. Jazzy B, shout out to you. Hopefully I can work with you one day. I'd love to do a body transformation with you one day. Who knows, let's see. Alright, let's go. So, again, hips forward, shoulder blades locked in. Notice how I'm making sure I'm holding in this position right at the very end, because that's where I'm the weakest, and that's where I want to get strongest, and that's where you're going to get the most amount of gains. Now I don't give a shit if my form goes out the window. That's how we do it. Hold on, guys. Hey, man. How's it going? You alright? How are you doing? You alright?
I'm doing good. What about you?
Not bad, man. First day back after the weekend.
How's training going?
It's going good. It's good. I'm just doing my YouTube vlog, first vlog that I've ever done. Just yes. I've been managed to. Sorry. Yeah. So this is something that I've wanted to do for so many years, but now I'm just flowing with it. Man, how about you?
To be honest, I'm doing good right now.
And how were your arms after the other day?
The arms were exploding.
Good.
But on the other day, when I woke up, it got bigger.
Good. Nice. Right. Yes. And use that same training principle that I taught you, and use that for each movement that you do. It's got nothing to do with the weight. It's all about tempo, contraction, and just going absolute, just all out into it. Right. What are you training today?
Chest and tricep.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Right. Yes. I'll let you crack on. Right. Yes. I'll touch base with you in a bit. Enjoy your session. Thank you. All right. So that was a good one. So that kid, I literally met him last week, and I think he's 15 years old, and he had no clue how to kind of use some of the kit. And hey, you know what? So we've all been there, right? Yeah, I started off at the gym when I was probably 13 or 14 years old, and I just asked him, hey, you know what? Can I train with you? Like, do you mind if I jump in? And he was so polite and nice, and he said, yeah. And then I just watched his form, and then I just asked him very nicely if I could show him some tips and some advice, and yeah, he was super cool about it. So we trained together, and he learned some stuff, and we trained biceps that day. And I haven't seen him for like, I think it's been since last Wednesday, and I've just seen him today. And as you heard, right, so his arms have never been trained like that, and yeah, that's what the gym is about. It's about teaching and educating people and showing them a correct way of doing something and just passing down knowledge, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. Pass knowledge, help change people's lives, improve the quality of their lives. Right? So he's a young lad, right? So he's got the rest of his life ahead of him, and I hope something that I taught him today kind of sticks with him, and he progresses in his own lifting career and life as well. So it's always nice to be kind. Be kind to people. Show them. All right, so 32, 15. One more set. So now we're going for about 20 repetitions. So I'm gonna drop the load down to 25, and we're gonna try and get 20 reps. Let's have a quick swig of water. Oh, here we go. Excuse me. Oh, wow. Wow, that was a good set. So, as you can see, I started off about here. As I started to fatigue, naturally, what you'd want to start doing is shift your hips back, start to lean forward so you can cheat your brain into thinking that you've done the movement, but you haven't actually done the movement. So I made sure that I slided my arse forward, pushing my shoulder blades as far back into the bench, which means that I have further distance to actually travel now, and really focusing on getting into that lengthened position. So that was a good set. All right, so next exercise that we're doing is cross-body cable tricep extensions. And this is a really nice exercise, right? Because I find by doing skull crushes and certain pressing movements, my elbows really hurt just of years of just making mistakes in the gym and lifting badly. So whereas with this, we can really isolate the tricep and there's no room for you to cheat. So what you want to do, take two cables, standing over here, and you want your feet to be shoulder width apart, and your starting position is here. So remember what I said about training the body is all about understanding angles. So this is my starting position. As you can see, just on my arms, there is a 90-degree, and my aim is to get a fully extended arm, where it goes to 180, right? And that is where my triceps are contracting maximally. And then we slowly, eccentrically bring it back up to the starting position, which was 90 degree. So we don't want to go higher up than that, because then we start to use momentum, and we don't want to use momentum on this. So we'll start off by doing a working set. So from here, and when you're doing this one, starting off, we don't want to hinge the hips back, right? So we can save that for our repertoire towards the end of the very last set. So where you're fatigued, we can use momentum, right? But for the first two sets, we want to try and be standing as correctly as we possibly can. So from here, let's go. Making sure that we're getting that full contraction, holding there for 2 seconds. Slowly back up. If you want to have big, gnarly triceps, you really want to make sure that you're holding it right in that end position where you're going to be the weakest, because naturally you want to come back up because you're shit in that position and you suck at it. So if you can hold that position at the bottom, that's where you're going to grow. Come on. Oh my God. That was a good set. So, what we done there, we basically just isolated that tricep movement, right? So, what we're trying to do is extending out that way. Yeah, you can use a rope. I like to use dual ropes because you can actually have much more range of movement. But this is a lovely exercise because it sets you up where you can mechanically or structurally just kind of move better. I just find that I just have much better tricep contraction this way. I'm sure there's some scientific rationale behind it, but I'm not a science man. I just know what I know, and as much as I do love to learn, I don't always know everything. But from being in this position here and fully lengthening and holding that position, right, because that's where you're going to be the weakest, that's where you want to hold it, and slowly coming back up just to your 90 degree, so where this lengthens, right, so that's in the fully stretched position of your tricep, and then you contract down where this becomes the shortest, and that's where you want to hold it, right? So whenever you're trying to build any muscle, you want to be able to hold it in that fully contracted position for as long as you can, because that's where you're going to have the most growth. And then you eccentrically control everything, because that's where your muscle is technically like the weakest, but then it's technically like the strongest as well, because you actually have to recruit 70% more muscle fibers controlling the weight back up. So for all you gym guys out there, control your weight. One of the best lessons that I was taught by my earliest mentor, Charles Poliquin, he taught me men should lift like women and women should lift like men, meaning women need to lift heavier weight, because for a long time in the 90s and the noughties, women were kind of told not to lift heavy and they should just do light weights, which is complete bullshit. Women should train heavy and strong, but they lift weights in a very controlled manner, which is excellent, and men can learn from that. Whereas men need to train like women, in the sense of leaving your ego at the door and learning to control the weight. That is how you build muscle. All right, let's go for set number 2. Move my hips back now so I can get a little bit more momentum into this. Starting to fatigue now, so I'm going to shift my hips back even further. That was a good set. All right. Not bad. So, we've got one more set to do, and the last set is going to be a drop set. And on this very last set, we're going to make sure that I'm standing up straight as I can for the first 12. And we go to failure as much as we can, and then I will drop the load, hinge my hips backwards, and then try and get as much as I can out of it. So, last set. Let's go. Top load. So I'll drop load, and now I'm going to just hinge my hips backwards. Like I said, it's got nothing to do with how much load I'm lifting. We're just trying to get that muscular contraction. Oh, fuck. So that was triceps.